Welcome to the final segment of the 10 Steps to Accelerate Your Online Course. In Step 7, we're going to discuss designing opportunities for discussion. By doing that, you're going to provide opportunities for your students to discuss and reflect the content that they've learned so far in your course, as well as promote interaction and engagement. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You can use your own learning management system functions, which is a preference of the distance learning team sometimes at universities, so you may want to check with them first. Other opportunities to do this are using blogs, as well as wikis and other forms of social media.
And some great examples for tips for designing and managing discussions. I like to provide an example of an exemplary, mediocre, and poorly written discussion board post. A lot of students may be returning to school after many years of being out of school.
Yes.
And then even for students who have been in school, maybe they had a different experience with another professor who had different expectations. So again, it goes back to communicating clearly the expectations and the learning objectives. So by having those examples, the students can say, oh, I can really understand why she felt this one was exemplary. And I do put a little note explaining why I felt it was as well. Another tip is to use the discussion board as a platform to incorporate current events. We know that accrediting bodies, a lot of times in the online space, they'll say, well, how did you develop this course, Dr. Farmakis, last spring? You're teaching it in the fall. There's no way you can incorporate relevant and current events. But if you reserve your discussion board, I have questions that I've already designed. Right. But let's say something happens in the media, and maybe it's a healthcare program, and I can easily pull that into the discussion board. Even if you don't have a lot of knowledge about how to populate content in the LMS, it's very easy to populate discussion board questions.
Yeah, and what's great about incorporating the current events is it makes the content very relevant and real-world experience being brought into the conversation. So this is a great opportunity for students to back up what they're saying with different resources and content instead of just saying, yes, I agree. So piggybacking onto your providing an exemplary post, that would really help the student.
It does. It's also a place for the instructor to put announcements, to put weekly reminders or recaps. I usually start the week by saying, I saw last week, I saw good progress in XYZ. This week, we're going to investigate XYZ, and then a recap at the end of the week. Most importantly, I think the discussion board is a great place to identify early warning signs.
Exactly. So you're going to be able to notice, okay, this student is not posting their reply or their initial post by a certain time. Another thing to be considerate of is posting on a certain day of the week and then replying to others by another day of the week. So you wouldn't want to have the discussion board assignments due all on the same day where they have to post and reply. Provide the students an opportunity to go ahead and respond to other students in the class as well.
That's a great point, because the true point of the discussion board is to allow that opportunity for rich discussion to occur. So if my course begins on a Monday, I may say that their discussion post is due by Wednesday at midnight. And then they have to reply to at least 2 students by Friday or Saturday. I have found that if I make it the last day of the course, if everybody waits till Sunday night to go post, then there's no rich discussion taking place. Also with the early warning signs, you may see students who have poor writing skills. So that's an opportunity for you to reach out to them, to work with that student, or even refer them to a writing lab or some resource that your university provides.
Also, when you're picking the dates and times for students to submit their post or reply in the discussion board, you may want to get together with other people that are teaching in that cohort as well, because oftentimes students are taking more than one course at a time. So you're going to want to make this experience of earning their online education as user-friendly as possible. So make sure that you get in alignment with other people to have your assignments due on the same date as close as possible. It just helps that student stay more focused.
And that's a great point. If you can streamline the practices throughout the program, so if I'm teaching English 101 and you're teaching Math 102, if as a team the program can collaborate and scaffold everything and everybody agree, okay, the first post is due Wednesday night, reply to students by Friday or Saturday. So that way, that's a great point. You really want to streamline the entire program because ultimately, again, we're not looking to just enroll students in our courses. We want them to persist
Right.
and to retain those students and to see them to graduation.
Right, and this is one of the top strategies for retaining online students because one of the largest complaints with online students is that there's feelings of isolation. So when you incorporate an online discussion forum, you are really providing an opportunity for engagement and interaction, not only between the teacher and the student, but from student to student as well.
That's true. So as we move on to the next step, we're looking at how to incorporate a wide range of readings.
Mm-hmm.
And we know this is important. We don't want to see just textbooks.
Right.
Consider ebooks, articles, journals. Maybe you have a PDF, something that's relevant. Look at open education resources.
Mm-hmm.
And what other things do you incorporate in your course?
Well, I've sent students out to different blogs from experts in the field. So, I might say, oh, go to XYZ person. They're really an expert on this topic, and go ahead and explore what they have posted there.
So remember to consider a wide range of reading materials for your students.
That also keeps the pace up with the students, too, instead of just looking at the same type of material and content.
That's true.
So in step 9, we're going to meaningfully incorporate technology. And this is a great opportunity for students to write, collaborate, share, and read using Web 2.0 tools and social media landscapes.
And we know that technology, we keep saying this, but it's so important. This is how you can make your course engaging. You can make it come alive. It can come off the paper to say, so it's not just text-based. So, and I challenge professors when I work with them, even if you're afraid of technology, just choose one thing and choose one simple technology that you could integrate into your course. And if you choose one technology to try every semester, then eventually you'll have a resource bank of things that you find that work well in your course.
That's an excellent point, Dr. Kaulbach, because it can seem very overwhelming, especially if you're new to teaching in the online platform. So taking step by step in the process, it really helps put it together.
And then our final step, we look at continuous improvement of the course. So how do we do that? A very easy step is to collect data and feedback from your students in your course. Mm-hmm. Students tend to be very honest and tell you about their experiences. Now, you have to keep in mind some of their opinions might be based on the level of technology that they're comfortable with. But ultimately, if you're reviewing your course, during the course, I like to make note of what's working well, what's not working so well, because it should always be evolving. So if you make practice of collecting student feedback, collecting data, looking at grades, which weeks, if you see a week where everyone's bombing an assessment, then that should be a trigger to you to reevaluate that assessment and have a deeper understanding why students weren't successful.
Or it could be an opportunity for you to go ahead and do a video explaining that assignment
Absolutely.
or assessment. Maybe the students aren't, understanding what that is or everything that encompasses that particular assignment. You might want to also go ahead and revisit the Quality Matter standards as well as the Sloan C scorecard as well.
Right, so looking at your quality review, and maybe there was an indicator where you decided not to implement a suggestion. Well, after you've lived that experience of your course and you're looking at the data, you can revisit that quality review and decide maybe you need to make some tweaks in that course. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that some of our tips were useful.